everybody, welcome back and welcome to 2016. It is 2016 and I hope you all had a fantastic holiday, fantastic Christmas, and a fun New Year's Eve celebrations. Today I want to look back on 2015 and all that I learned here on BookTube, as well as share with you some of my reading goals for 2016. So 2015 was the start of my BookTube channel. I think I started back in June, and it was... well, looking back, some of my older videos are pretty embarrassing, and I was all excited and gung-ho, and I was just loving every books and wanting to read all the books. But there were quite a few things that I learned the hard way and learned to change as I progressed, and I like seeing where I've come from. So back when I started my YouTube channel, I hated the sound of myself being on video or being recorded at all, but I still wanted to fight through that and start a channel. Now that I'm used to editing myself on video, I don't mind so much. In fact, I really enjoy making videos. So that was a cool learning experience that way. I also fiddled around with some technology issues. My camera kind of died on me halfway through. It wasn't the best camera, but it was a good, decent Kodak camera that I was using just to have some decent videos. But it only recorded 10 minutes at a time, and I think my SD card was all messed up, so I kept skipping audio tracks as it recorded, which got super annoying. So I switched to using my cell phone, and I kind of rigged my cell phone onto a tripod that a friend lent me. So I have this weird tripod cell phone rig up that actually works pretty well. Also had to do some other technology issues with my editing software. So I was using the Microsoft Movie Maker software that comes automatically on your computer. It's decent. It's not my favorite, but I've used it before and it's pretty. However, the program itself was having a lot of problem with the HD quality videos that my camera records. So it wasn't able to actually process them fast enough. So it's a very slow process to edit a video on Microsoft Movie Maker. So I found Wondershare Filmora. It's a downloadable software online. I bought the 6-month program and I like it so far, and it's really nice, and it's got free music with it and all these additions to edit your videos and make them just look blingier. And that's how I actually made my opening, is using some of the overlays and whatnot that they have. So I make my own openings and end cards as well. So aside from all the technical and YouTube video-ish type lessons I learned, I also learned some BookTube-ish lessons. So for example, you don't have to love every book you read. I was really gung-ho about some of the books I read at the beginning of my YouTube channel, but now when I look back, I mean, they were good books, but they weren't as amazing as I was making them out to be. Another lesson that I learned was stop apologizing for the books I do love. So I read a lot of really cheesy Christian fiction, romancy type books. They're clean, medieval, fairy tale-ish retelling books, and I loved them so much. I loved them for what they were. I loved the writing, but whenever I would talk to them, I would always be like, keep in mind, they're not the best writing, or keep in mind, they're supposed to be really cheesy. Just because I didn't want people to think, oh, this is really good, I should read it, and then end up hating it. I felt if I did that, it would discredit me as a reviewer and a recommender, and people wouldn't want to read the books I recommended because they were disappointed with what I had recommended. But I learned not to care. If I loved the books, that is what I'm on here for. I am on here to recommend clean content books, as well as books that I genuinely love and want other people to appreciate and love. And if they don't appreciate and love the books the way I did, then so be it. Everyone's got their own taste. So I've learned to stop apologizing for books that I loved. Another important factor that I learned here on BookTube throughout my first year here was you don't have to buy every book possible, and you don't have to have the beautiful shelves and 5 editions of each book just to have the beautiful editions. I found when I first started BookTube, some people had discussion videos about this, and these are just views that I had myself on here, that in some cases, this isn't a general sweeping comment, but in some cases, BookTube can feel really shallow and you can get caught up in the materialisticness of BookTube. I noticed that when I put up a book haul video, which isn't very often, it is my most popular video of the week. If I do anything with my shelves, a library haul, a book haul, I get 20 some views within 2 days, whereas any of my book chats, wrap-ups, TBRs, what have you, those books only get average of 13 to 14 views within a couple of days. So you can see that people's gorgeous shelves and people's hauls to see what they buy are the more popular books. I'm at a place financially in my life where I have all of my money going to other responsibilities, and I don't have that opportunity to just go out and buy books I want to read and try them. So for me, I learned to appreciate and love my library more. I'm not too far behind in the trendier books because my library is pretty decent with keeping on top of that. Plus, I get to enjoy the try before you buy aspect of it. I also learned this year that investing money in a book that you think you might like and then finding out you didn't like it feels disappointing to you. You feel like it was a waste of money. And with the library, I can try it before I buy it, and if there's books that I genuinely love and would like to read again and want to own, then I feel better about my investment going towards those books. And if you are somebody who does do all the buying the books before you read them, this is not a knock to you guys. It's just some of us on here have to be okay with being the library borrowers and the buying when we can booktubers. Along with all these lessons I learned on BookTube, I also made some fantastic new friends here on BookTube. I wasn't actually expecting to make friends. I was hoping for viewers, I was hoping for viewer numbers, even though that is not the main reason I joined BookTube. I still wanted my viewer numbers to grow. Even though my channel growth is a lot slower than some of the other booktubers that started around the same time as me, I'm still appreciating my smaller viewer numbers and slowly building relationships and making friends with the people I have. So with the smaller viewing numbers, I have more time for actually relating and talking and answering questions and chatting with you guys in the comments. So I learned to appreciate that, as well as build those connections, and as you're building those connections, your channel does grow because you're actually building into a community. You're not just building up viewer numbers. I used to read maybe an average 2 to 3 books a year since high school. This year, I read, very happily to say, that I read 100 books this year. I started out my Goodreads challenge with only 50 books. I hit that goal by June, and I said, if I can hit my goal halfway through the year, then let's double that and hit 100 books this year. And I did it. So I read a total of 100 books, which equaled to 29,970 pages read this year. I'm very pleased with myself and would like to keep that momentum going. Not only have I discovered some fantastic books this year, I also discovered some other tastes that I had and some other genres, and kind of explored more genres than just the romancy and the fantasy genres. So with all of that said, here are my 2016 reading goals. Number 1 is, of course, to read 100 books. I set my Goodreads challenge to 100 books again. I figured if I did it last year, I can try and do it again. I really enjoy the Goodreads challenge. I like it. It keeps me focused. I love seeing progression bars. I'm someone who strives with seeing a progress bar. I was the kid who actually liked watching the now loading progress bars because it was just fun to watch the percentage climb. I don't know. I was a very strange child. And I like that, so I like watching my progress bar on my Goodreads challenge grow. I like doing the page progressions on Goodreads as I update my reading progress. So I really enjoy that. It keeps me focused and it has a visual goal in mind. So I'm going to keep my 100 books a year reading challenge for 2016. My next 2016 challenge is to finish the Space Trilogy by C.S. Lewis. I know many of you are probably wondering, why are you still torturing yourself and trying to finish this? Because I want to. I really want to finish this. I know C.S. Lewis is my favorite author. I enjoy some of his theology writings as well as his Chronicles of Narnia, but I am not getting this book so far. Like, I love his writing style. He has brilliant writing. It is so rich, and you don't find writers who write like this anymore. So I am enjoying the writing so much. I just can't tell you what this book is about. I can't tell you anything about what this trilogy is even about because I have no idea how this is all connecting. So I'm driven to find out how this is connecting, and I am going to finish it this year, guys. So that is my goal for 2016, is to finally finish the Space Trilogy. I'm actually very close to being done. I just have to finish that Hideous Strength, which is the last book in the trilogy. My next reading goal for 2016 is to finish the Lord of the Rings trilogy for the first time. I'm a huge Middle-earther fan, but I've never fully read the books yet. So I finished The Fellowship of the Ring and The Hobbit in 2014. I finished The Two Towers in 2015, so 2016 will be the year that I finally finished the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I don't know why I hold it off so long. It's not like the books dragged for me. It's not like I didn't like them. I 100% enjoyed them. I enjoy the writing style. I just for some reason took a huge break in between The Two Towers and The Return of the King, so I'm going to jump right back into that for 2016. My next book goal is to finish books that I already own. Now there isn't a huge ratio of books read and unread on my shelves. There's only maybe 20 books out of, I don't know, maybe 100 that I own that I actually own and haven't read. The reason I bought these books though is because I know I wanted to read them and I know I would like them. So I would like to get those books finished, and a lot of those are classics, and the reason I bought them is because I would like to read more classics, which moves into my next goal. I would like to read more classics this year. I only read one Jane Austen book this year, and I did plan on reading A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, but that never got done this year. So I would like to read more classics this year and read more of the books that I already own this year. My next reading goal is to finish a series that I've already started that are complete. So I'd like to finish the Raven King trilogy. I would like to finish the Inkwell trilogy. I believe there's a couple other trilogies that I'm stuck in the middle of that I haven't really kept going. So I would like to keep some of those going and finish some of the series that I've already started. Another goal I'd like to complete is to do some rereads. I discovered while discussing Codename Verity and Rose Under Fire with my friend who I lent them to that I felt like I was missing some information that she caught in the books. And I realized, which is kind of a good thing with me buying books I've already read, is I can enjoy rereading them, because I have a problem with forgetting books and forgetting minute details from those books. So I would like to do some more rereads this year. I would like to reread The Hobbit. I would like to reread Anne of Green Gables and Holes and some other of my favorites that I haven't read since maybe junior high. And with that, forgetting books right after I've read them or a couple weeks after I've read them, I would like to do more reviews. So I would like to finish a book or review it right away, because then it's still fresh and I still have how I thought about it and what I liked about it in my mind. I think I only did one this year, and that was Rook, and I found that I wasn't very good at doing reviews, or so I thought. But what I realized is I'm trying to pattern all of how I do a review after how everyone else does a review. So I thought this year, even if I just ramble on about a book and it doesn't have much of a format in a video, I would still like to somehow do a review my own way and how I find I'm comfortable doing it. And I'm now signed up for the Fiction Guild by Thomas Nelson Zondervan, so I'm actually being sent books for review, so I would like to review those books and be diligent in that responsibility. So hopefully you guys will be seeing some more reviews on my channel here. As well as on my Goodreads reads, I do hope to be writing more reviews on those books. I started out strong when I first started BookTube, but then just kind of died really quickly. It just got too overwhelming because I was reading more books than I was used to. And my last goal for 2016 is to read what I want to read. Not to read what is being hyped, not to read to catch up on the trends, not to read books that I don't even know if I like it, I just know everyone's reading it right now. So I got caught up in the hype around books, and I've picked up books that I would never have picked up on my own. And in some cases it was great. Some cases I picked up and fell in love with new books I never would have picked up on my own. But this year I want to read books that I want to read because I want to read them and not because I got caught up in the hype. So those are my reading and bookish goals for 2016. Thank you guys so much for supporting me in 2015, and I look forward to getting to know more of you in 2016. It's going to be a fantastic year. So as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.